What's going on, guys? It is Schmeat back here with another video, and before I dive into more playoff talk and more Hornets talk, I want to, step back into the natural realm of Bleacher Report, and that's what we're going to be doing as we are reacting to an article saying they're handing out awards to every NBA team this season. Going to be interesting what they have for the Hornets. There's been a lot of speculation about who's our best player. Still up in the air. I don't know. But we're going to see how it goes in this article. All right, so Atlanta Hawks to start it off. MVP Trae Young, pretty obvious. It's crazy he wasn't all-star this year just because I think his perception around the league is being an all-star. So it's kind of weird that he just wasn't because he's obviously an all-star player. And then people that got the all-star bit ahead of him, I don't know. It's really interesting. That's pretty obvious. Defensive Player of the Year is Clint Capella for the Atlanta Hawks. He's been insane this year. Really bounced back his career. Well, I wouldn't say bounced back his career because he was fine for the Rockets, but he just didn't play last year very much for the Hawks. He had that mid-season trade, I believe, last year. So he's been great this year. If we could get him on the Hornets somehow, it's not like the Hawks are giving him up. Newcomer Nate McMillan makes sense. He's been really good. I don't know why Indiana let him go, especially for the coach that they have right now. That was a bad move by them. DeAndre Hunter, more of this, please award. He's been fine this season, yeah. His splits are insane. 50, 40, 80. I hate. Tony Snell had insane splits. Maybe it's just a Hawks thing to have these insane shooting splits, but wow, I did not realize that out of DeAndre Hunter. On 17 points a game, 6 rebounds. It's insane. Celtics, it's okay. I see Jason Tatum MVP, makes sense. Marcus Smart, Defensive Player of the Year. Newcomer Evan Fournier. I was just going to say, Peyton Pritchard, throughout this season, might have, if we're going off the entire season, I mean, Evan Fournier just showed up there halfway in the year. I would say Peyton Pritchard, throughout this whole season, has been made more of an impact and has been the better newcomer than Evan Fournier has. I guess Evan Fournier has made, 20 points a game. Do-over award. Yeah, I don't know why they didn't make that deal. That's a very big L on their part. Maybe the Hornets can make some move for Miles Turner. If we make a sign and trade with Devontae Graham, maybe throw Malik Monk in there. Maybe that's a thing to look at with Miles Turner. It's a possibility. Brooklyn Nets MVP Kyrie. Yeah, he's just been available the most out of the big three. Defensive Player of the Year Nick Claxton. That makes sense. Best newcomer, some of the big three is probably the best newcomer. What even is a center award? Bruce Brown, yeah. He's Bruce Brown, and what's that guy from the Pelicans? Josh Hart. Remind me, they're basically the same type of player because they're undersized guards that just rebound the hell out of the ball, and it's the Hornets really need that. And speaking of the Hornets, we are next. Terry Rozier, defense or the MVP. Let me predict who our Defensive Player of the Year would be. If I want to put myself into the seat of the Bleacher Report article writer, they might say Bismack. I'm trying to maybe one of the Martin twins. Let's see who they have. Bismack Biyombo. Okay. Interesting. He's also second in Defensive Raptor and D LeBron. Though that's noting Charlotte's overall defense was slightly worse when Biyombo was in the game. We are slightly worse when Biyombo is in the game. Let's make that clear. LaMelo Ball, best newcomer, makes sense. That's pretty obvious. Look out below, Miles Bridges. Okay, that was pretty boring awards. MVP for Zach LaVine of the Bulls. Makes sense. Thaddeus Young, Defensive Player of the Year. Big surprise, Thaddeus Young, more young. Thaddeus Young was insane this year. And what's the plan here? Who is that? Okay, let me look who up this guy. Who is this guy? Who? Is that one of their front office guys? It must be. Okay. Cavs. We got Colin Sexton, MVP. Maybe Darius Garland, just because I think Colin Sexton is kind of a one-dimensional point guard or shooting. I think he plays shooting guard more than point guard in this league, and I think Darius Garland's just going to be better. And I think he was better this year. But yeah, I guess so. Defensive Player of the Year, Larry Nance Jr. It's really sad that he got injured like halfway through the season, and the Cavs just were noticeably worse when he wasn't out there on the court. Jared Allen, Best Newcomer. Yeah, they're going to pay him a load of money this offseason. I heard $25 million even. Just crazy amount. Worst inbound. Oh, okay. We're just going to bypass that because Kevin Love had a good game before the season ended. I think it was the second to last game of the season where he had like 25 and 7 or something. Like he had a good stat line. Dallas Mavericks, Luka MVP. I haven't seen much of Maxi Kleba, one of the two. Biggest surprise, Josh Richardson. Yeah, he's okay. Josh Richardson is okay. They traded away Steph Curry to get him, so I don't know. Desperately, God damn it, needed self-awareness award. That's an interesting thing. Maybe I'll make a video on that, on Luka Doncic, because you don't picture him as like a mad person. You don't picture him at being mad at refs. And he has gotten so many texts this year, and he was on the verge of getting suspended one game. So, anyways, Nuggets MVP, probably the MVP this season. Why am I saying probably? He is the MVP this season in Jokic. Defensive player, Paul Millsap, Defensive Player of the Year. Wow. Yeah, I was gonna say Campazzo is really pesky, and he reminds me of one of the Martin twins. Who's the pesky Martin twin over the other? Cody Martin. Cody Martin's our defensive Martin twin. So Campazzo reminds me of Cody Martin a little bit, just smaller and foreign. Paul Millsap, though, I didn't know he was the best defensive player on the Nuggets. That's interesting. Very interesting. I have not paid much attention to Paul Millsap. He's definitely coming off the bench, right? He has to be. Newcomer, Aaron Gordon, pretty obvious. World class. That just what I was saying before. Hyperactive in your jersey, on-ball defender. That sums him up perfectly. Pistons, obviously Grant. Stewart, Defensive Player of the Year. Yeah, who else plays defense? Mason Plumlee a little bit, but other than that, not really. Do they have a Beef Stew is his nickname? Gotta love it. Best Newcomer, Sadiq Bey. Is that their best newcomer? Wasn't Jeremy Grant a newcomer? I would say Jeremy Grant is a better newcomer than Sadiq Bey, but okay. Starting from scratch award, Killian Hayes. Very rough start to the season. He got injured, and he was a little bit better near the end of the season. It'll be interesting how his career plays out going forward. Being on the Pistons, obviously his development is going to be stunted a little bit just in a bad organization, but we'll see. Warriors, we got Steph Curry MVP, Draymond Green, pretty obvious. Biggest surprise, Jordan Poole. Yeah, what does it say here? Most negatively impacted players during his rookie season. Yeah, he's just been more consistent. I think that's a great way to sum it up for Jordan Poole. Had some, what do you have, 38 points near the end of the season. Most franchise-altering stalled development award, James Wiseman. He's going to be traded. I don't think there's going to be any question in the trade either. Rockets, Christian Wood, Jason Tate is playing I did not know. All you hear about is with rookies, if they have a good game, it's because they scored a lot of points. So to hear that he plays good defense is a reassuring thing. Best newcomer, Kevin Porter Jr. Makes sense. Patience of a Saint. Didn't he say he wanted to stick around for the rebuild or something like that? Their coach. I think he did, which props to him, because as they say right here, he spent 20 years as an assistant, and his first head coaching job is for an awful team, which he went in there thinking he had James Harden and PJ Tucker and Russell Westbrook, and he ended up with Jayshawn Tate and a bunch of G Leaguers. So kudos to him. Pacers, Sabonis, Turner. Even I don't know if I give it to Turner because he got injured, and you got TJ McConnell, who just tore up my Hornets. Anyways, big surprise, Nate. Yeah, that was surprising. That it's going to be interesting with TJ Warren as well, because it's obviously he was injured this entire season, but it came out that he wanted to be traded, having the knowledge that they were going away from Nate McMillan and going into another Nate Borg. I don't even know it. I'm not even going to attempt his last name. So it's going to be interesting if TJ Warren does get traded, maybe to the Hornets. Could be a possibility. Most delightful inbounds thief. Okay, sounds good. Clippers, MVP, and Kawhi plays defense is basically what it's saying there. Biggest surprise, Nicholas Batum made a video on him. Check it out. Prove It Award, Leonard and George. I mean, NBA Twitter does not give the Clippers the benefit of the doubt for being a very good team in the regular season, and it's all about the playoffs for the Clippers, and it'll be interesting how they do against the Mavs. Lakers, LeBron, pretty obvious. Newcomer Dennis Schroeder. Who is their other newcomers? Marc Gasol wasn't as good as he was on the Raptors. Who else? Taylor Horn Tucker isn't a newcomer. I'd say Dennis Schroeder has had the biggest impact. Obviously, he hasn't had his statistical season as he did with the Oklahoma City Thunder because he's been in a lesser role. Montrezl Harrell is a newcomer as well. Give that man his due award, Frank Vogel. Okay, maybe. Okay. Grizzlies, MVP Ja Morant. Yeah, Jonas Valanciunas has had a quiet season, but okay. Defense Player of the Year, Dylan Brooks. I've heard a lot about Dylan Brooks playing defense. Biggest surprise, Kyle Anderson. I wouldn't say it's a surprise. I knew Kyle Anderson was a good, on both ends of the floor, defensive offense player. I would love him on the Hornets. Old School Award. Yeah, Jonas Valanciunas has been quietly having one of his best seasons. 16 points, 12 rebounds. That's another player that, the Grizzlies value their youth a lot. Maybe we can cash in on I don't know. I relate every player back to the Hornets, if you guys couldn't tell. The Heat, Jimmy Butler, Precious. Who is... I'm trying to think of another newcomer that might get this award. I mean, Trevor Ariza wasn't really there in time to get this award. Victor Oladipo got injured. So, give it to Precious Achiuwa. Don't sleep on him. Yeah, Bam's been really good. Bucks, Giannis having an MVP-type season. Newcomer, Drew Holiday. Makes sense. Overlooked again, Chris Middleton. Yeah. If the Bucks lose in this first round, their coach is out of there. I'm just saying that. Timberwolves, Karl Anthony Towns, MVP, Defense Player of the Year, Jared Vanderbilt. Okay. Best newcomer, Edwards. Best dunk. Okay, best dunk award. They're giving it to Edwards over that Miles Bridges dunk a while back. Pelicans, Zion is their MVP, Defense Player of the Year, Steven Adams. It's interesting that they extended Steven Adams prior to the season even happening. Before he even played a single game with the Pelicans, they extended him for, I think, 2 more years. And they didn't even get to test out how that front court would be with Zion and Steven Adams. And it's been okay, but it hasn't been like... Obviously, they didn't make the playoffs, so it isn't what they thought it would be. Biggest surprise, I don't even know who that is, so I guess that is a surprise. The Game Slowed Down Award. Okay, I don't know what that means, and I don't have the time to read it. But the Raw second year got better as the season progressed. Yeah, he was very raw his first season. They say it right here in this first sentence. He was something that first season. He has his highlight dunks, Jackson Hayes, every once in a while, though. Knicks, Julius Randle, makes sense. Defensive Player of the Year, Noel. Makes sense. Biggest surprise, I wouldn't say Derrick Rose. I knew when Derrick Rose would make it to I'm not saying the Knicks are contending, but a more playoff team, that he would have this great impact as a veteran. And especially under Tom Thibodeau, they're very knowledgeable of each other. I don't think it was the biggest surprise. He put up great stats on the Pistons. It's just nobody was talking about it because it's the fucking Pistons. It still works award, Tom Thibodeau. Yeah, we'll see if they burn out in the playoffs, though. Thunder, MVP Shea. I can probably name all the best newcomer, Al Horford. What about George Hill had a good run, I guess, before he got traded. Newcomer. Poku was pretty good. Theo Maledon was pretty good. I wouldn't say Al Horford just because they shut him down, it's going to be interesting what they do with him as well. What are we even watching here? Award, Poku. Very raw. It's going to be interesting if he develops into his 190-pound body, maybe adds a little weight. Magic, MVP, Vucevic. Okay. What about Cole Anthony? Defensive Player of the Year, Michael Carter-Williams. It's good to hear that Carter-Williams is having a good season with them. He had an interesting path to he won Rookie of the Year, and he's kind of fizzled out. Best newcomer, Wendell Carter Jr. Okay. File this away, Chuma Okeke. I heard he was having a pretty solid season. Does it say his stats here? Shot 35% from 3. That's pretty good. 76ers, Joel Embiid, Ben Simmons, Seth Curry, best newcomer. Yeah, he's the best newcomer. A jumper away from unmitigated. Why are they putting these words over? They know I don't understand what that word means. Matisse Thybulle. If he can develop a offensive game that complements his defensive game, that'd be amazing. He reminds me of someone who was really good defensively, Mikal Bridges. Mikal Bridges, his rookie year, was pretty much only good defensively, and Mikal has developed an offensive game throughout his time in the league on the Suns. And if Matisse Thybulle can replicate that, that'd be great. Speaking of the Suns, Chris Paul, MVP and best newcomer, makes sense. Speaking of Mikal Bridges, I spoke it into existence. Defensive Player of the Year. We have to give Devin Booker some... Okay, Bleacher Report. Trailblazers, Damian Lillard, Defensive Player of the Year and Best Newcomer, Robert Covington, makes sense. Attack Mode Award, Norman Powell. They got Pam this offseason, that's the only thing. Kings, De'Aaron Fox, MVP. Defensive Player of the Year, no one. Hassan Whiteside doesn't play any defense. That's disappointing. Best newcomer, Tyrese Halliburton. Degree of difficulty award, Buddy Hield. His 3-point percentage was down this season than his previous 2 seasons, but I still like his game. I want him on the Hornets. Spurs, MVP DeJounte Murray. Of all the MVPs we've handed out, this one is the trickiest. Just DeRozan has led the Spurs in points and assists, but how can someone who leads their does this writer only value defense? DeRozan carried the Spurs to the 10 seed. Okay. Defensive player, Podol was really good at defending the rim. Devin Vassell, biggest surprise, clock. They really did DeRozan dirty. I get Murray was very good defensively, as they say right here. Okay, I'm not going to question it. Like clockwork, Patty Mills, with defensive pressure and timely shot making. Yeah, he's been good over. Was he on? I think he was on those championship teams with the Spurs in the 2010s. I think he was. I think he has some rings under his belt. Raptors, Freddie, Defensive Player of the Year, OG. Biggest surprise, Chris Boucher. Who would be a surprise for them? I think it's a big surprise that Aaron Baines was so bad for them this year. I think that's a bigger surprise than Chris Boucher having a breakout season. Nobody Panic Award, Pascal Siakam. He started the year out slow. I had him on my fantasy basketball team, and he ended the year pretty decent. Utah Jazz, Rudy Go. Yeah, I would say he's the MVP of their team. Biggest surprise, Joe Ingles. Yeah, okay. It's finally over award. It took 14 years. All-Star. He didn't really make the All-Star team. He was the All-Star replacement, but okay. Last team we have here is the Wizards. Bradley Beal, MVP. Bradley Beal had a string of injuries this year, and Russell Westbrook kind of held down the fort. Okay. Defense Player of the Year, Robin Lopez. Best Newcomer, Russell Westbrook. Makes sense. Maybe this was enough award. Scott Brooks. Had the Wizards continued their unintentional tank, there would be no doubt about head coach's future. This season was the last of his 5-year contract. I mean, whoever is giving Scott Brooks a 5-year contract needs to be fired in the first place. But anyways, that's the video. If you like these videos, subscribe, like all that jazz. I'll have more content about the playoffs, about the Hornets in general, about our future, about the young guys, about the old guys, all that in the future. But I want to get this article out first. And yeah, I'll see you guys later.